People get sick with a lot of different diseases throughout their lives, some of which are quite mild, while others may have devastating effects. And royal families aren't any different. They don't have more protection from serious diseases or genetic flaws than anyone else. From genetic conditions to blood disorders, here are the 5 strange diseases suffered by royalty. Hello and welcome to Juicy Truth. If you have a thirst for knowledge that never quits, subscribe to our channel. Number 5. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria was the first person who was known to have hemophilia, but few people realize how bad it was for the 3 generations that came after her that her genes spread. 4 of her granddaughters and 2 of her daughters were infected. A son, 3 grandsons, and 4 great-grandsons were all victims, most of whom died from their injuries. Queen Victoria's genes hurt the royal houses of England, Russia, Spain, and Prussia because her children married into other politically important wealthy bloodlines. Their blood cannot clot due to protein deficits, and they can bleed to death from even slight cuts. Queen Victoria's murdered great-grandson Alexis Romanov, the future Tsar of Russia, was perhaps the most famous of her hemophiliac descendants. Number 4. Prince Albert. Prince Albert Saxe-Coburg-Gotha was Queen Victoria's husband and her first cousin. In December 1861, when he was only 42 years old, he died suddenly and very young. The sad queen forbade an autopsy, which could have helped find out what caused the royal consort's death with more certainty. Helen Rappaport, a historian at Oxford, has done research that suggests the prince died from Crohn's disease. Crohn's is a disease that causes the intestines to become inflamed. It affects 1 in 500 people. Even though it can be treated now, people who had it in the 1800s didn't know it existed or how to treat it. It wasn't named until 1932, and it often killed people. Prince Albert had painful stomach problems, which he had to deal with for months before he died. Doctors at the John Radcliffe Hospital also looked at the medical evidence again and agreed that it was more likely that the prince had Crohn's than that he had typhoid. Number 3. Tsar Ivan IV. Ivan the Terrible is still remembered as one of the cruelest leaders in history. He might have been clearly sociopathic, but it's likely that a disease caused or made the Tsar more violent. When his remains were re-examined in the 1960s, mercury was found in them. He had rheumatoid arthritis, and his bones showed signs of syphilitic osteitis. Tsar was always at risk of being poisoned, so it's not impossible that someone finally got sick of Ivan and gave him the poison that killed him. But back then, mercury was also used to treat the last stages of syphilis, which is a disease that can cause arthritis like Ivan's. Both mercury poisoning and tertiary syphilis can cause violent episodes. Some say that his behavior was caused by severe abuse as a child and the loss of his coveted wife. Number 2. King George III. King George's madness is well known, and it may have been caused by variegate porphyria, a type of porphyria that his ancestors, James IV of Scotland and Mary, Queen of Scots, showed signs of, while James's case was milder and he was treated like a king. But an acute form of the disease struck George III, and he was tied to a chair for hours and eventually kept in inhumane conditions at Windsor Castle. The disorder occurs when a specific enzyme is missing during the production of hemoglobin in red blood cells. Because of this, too many porphyrins are made. This buildup can cause many symptoms, such as stomach pain, problems with the nervous system, going crazy, sensitive skin, and dark urine. During his episodes, George III became violent and talked for hours, but he also had times when he felt better and could rule normally for years. Number 1. King Henry VIII. This Tudor king, who was known for killing some of his wives, wounded a son very badly. It is believed that he caused up to 13 pregnancies with his 6 wives, and who knows how many mistresses, but only 4 of the babies were born alive. Research shows that the king's blood could have been to blame. He might have had the rare Kell antigen, a protein that weakens the immune system and can cause stillbirths, miscarriages, or death soon after birth. If that was the case, then Macleod syndrome would explain why he was sick and acting even worse. McLeod syndrome is a genetic disorder that affects only KEL-positive individuals. The disease also degenerates muscle tissue, and by the time the king hit middle age, he could barely walk. Some suggested that he was instead a syphilis sufferer, but his track record with sickly pregnancies partners better with McLeod syndrome. That was it for today's video, guys. Do you know of any other strangest disease suffered by royalty? Do let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button. We will see you in the next video. Till then, take care.